Sharpen all the edges that I hide, I'm a liar. See my body licking up the flames from the fire. They could never kill me, so they seal me even tighter. Who remains around? 40 in the strength, I'm a fighter. 50 in the faith, take me higher. I'm a rise up on my demons like the tide. Blood moon, yellow in my eyes. Blood moon, white faint, bright blue, my stains, night flame. Then we got into rooms, yeah. Sun breath hit my wrist, blade fall like the mistake. Cares like a peak, yeah. Malachite, turn a tarnish to a gray side, yeah. Kiss it back, but I miss the way it tastes like, yeah. Through the frenzy and the flame, I keep the honor beside me. This faith will abide me, we're burning the tree. Sharpen all the edges that I hide, I'm a liar. See my body licking up the flames from the fire. They can never kill me, so they seal me even tighter. Who remains around? 40 in the strength, I'm a fighter. 50 in the faith, take me higher. I'm a rise up on my demons like a tide. Blood moon, yellow in my eyes. War horse in the crypt, a nightmare, great sword on my hip, blue veil in my hair. I'm a rise up on my demons like a tide. Blood moon, yellow in my eyes. But don't wish for walls to talk. They scream until I left the room. Blood writing on the walls tells me I'm born inside a tomb. I don't cower, I just power back. Water breathing got me feeling like I swallowed glass. Form 11, lose a weapon, you don't see it. If you spy it, never try it, they can deflect. Tweet what I saw, but I'm grim when I don't see that curse on the corpse. I'm a scourge, I'm the worst. Before the falling, I could bear this burden. 100 days ago, I found my purpose. Sharpen all the edges that I hide, I'm a liar. See my body licking up the flames from the fire. They can never kill me, so they seal me even tighter. Who remains around? 40 in the strength, I'm a fighter. 50 in the faith, take me higher. I'm a rise up on my demons like the tide. Blood moon, yellow in my eyes. War horse in the crypt, a nightmare, great sword on my hip, blue veil in my hair. I'm a rise up on my demons like the tide. Blood moon, yellow in my eyes.
And we're live! Hello to all you BC WrestlePod nerds out there, and welcome to another edition of the Dual Dynasty Review, your weekly WWE Raw and Smackdown review show here on the BC WrestlePod Twitch, YouTube, conglomeration, podcasting network syndicate.
It's getting longer and longer. It's getting bigger and bigger every time. Look at that.
Oh my goodness. And it is always going to change. The order's always going to change as well. So it's going to be fantastic.
I'm glad we don't have a specific brand name, or else we'd butcher it every single time.
Oh, absolutely. But I am one of your hosts, Mikey, and joining me, we have the full crew back in effect this week, which I feel like is a gift in itself.
It's been a minute. Yeah, it's been a while.
It has been.
It's been a while. Sorry if I could cop right for that one.
That guy's crazy now, by the way. If you,
He's always been crazy.
I mean, yeah, he's been kind of crazy, but he's
I mean,
deep end, like
absolutely. But
Anyway.
speaking of craziness, we are here to talk about the craziness of this week's Raw and SmackDown.
I am Nostradamus again. We'll talk about it when we get there. I called it last week. Replay the tape. Oh my God, it happened. I'm so excited.
I am so excited too, and a lot is happening this week for us WWE boys, because there's a pay-per-view happening this upcoming Saturday on the 30th, which is going to be nuts.
Mm-hmm.
That we also have a watch along for, so that's going to be interesting to say the least. And we're gonna make predictions for Survivor Series, though we only have 3 matches announced so far.
We're doing that today. We can.
Yeah, we're going to need to do it today, because by the time we do our next show, it will be past Survivor Series. So
that's fair.
We are going to do that today, but we got to get through Raw and SmackDown first. So if you are new here to the BC WrestlePod channel, hi, welcome, bienvenue, hola, konnichiwa, all the stuff there. We are a bunch of wrestling nerds who love to review wrestling, and we love to live, laugh, and love, and cry sometimes about wrestling, or yell at the sky. That also happens too.
Mostly that, just us yelling at the things happening across all the promotions. But we cover WWE, AEW, TNA, Ring of Honor. We also have, here and there, we also are started covering GCW towards the second half of this year. And we also might be including MLW as well as CMLL and everything. So we pretty much review a lot of stuff and whatever tickles our fancies, so to speak. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We have a TikTok. We have a Patreon. We are on YouTube. We are on Twitch. We also have merch, so check that out in the link in the description below this
Who's putting
video.
stuff on the Patreon?
I mean, I'm putting our watch-alongs on the Patreon. We don't have any subscribers yet, but
when we start getting subscribers, we'll start posting the feed.
We're gonna up that Patreon coming soon, folks. We just got to make some decisions.
Absolutely. But of course, we also have merchandise, as I was mentioning before. Link in the description below. We got lots of cool stuff. We have our logo merch. We have Squatchamania running wild, which is crazy fun. We also have 2 new additions to the shop, which is one inspired by the timeless one herself in I'm a Classy Bitch, is what our collection is. And that's what it says on the back. And then, of course, one of my personal favorite collections is the Fight collection, where, given the circumstances, given no matter what comes our way, we always have the right to fight back against anything. And so check that out. It's a lot of fun. And it's also winter, which means it is sweater weather. So make sure you get those crew neck sweaters and hoodies, please.
I want that hoodie. I gotta wait till I have money again, but I want that hoodie.
I ordered one. I'm still waiting on it to get here. I ordered one of those and a sticker for my water bottle.
So yeah, we got to figure out and wait on all that for sure. But with all the housekeeping out of the way, let's just jump straight into it. So a lot has gone down this week. Raw and SmackDown were things that occurred this week. Once again, bearing the lead here, but SmackDown had me more intrigued, ? But Raw also had a lot of fun stuff too, which potentially might be setting up some things down the road. But let us begin, as we always do, by covering the Monday Nighteth of Raw. And Raw had a lot of things happen prior to the episode airing and even leading after the episode. So we're just going to start with the news bits first. They announced that Monday Night Raw, the first episode of the Netflix era of Monday Night Raw, will be taking place on Monday, January 6th, live from the Inuit Dome, which is the new Clipper Stadium in Los Angeles. And if anybody has been keeping up on anything the Inuit Dome, that thing is very technologically crazy.
Yeah,
and it's
I've heard a lot about it. Is it as big a deal as everyone's saying?
Well, I mean, apparently, because lots of things have already happened. We had a Bruno Mars concert not too long ago. Tyler, the Creator, had his album listening party and will be coming through there in 2025 for his world tour of his new Chromacopia album. You know, the Netflix era of Raw is now in there as well.
See what happens, Clippers, when your owner isn't a racist?
You see, things are better When
your owner isn't a racist.
That is also very fair too. But yeah, that is
Anyway,
also very
sorry,
fair.
tangent. Keep going. Keep going.
So I was like, oh yeah, let's see. I could definitely see if I want to go, at least go. And then I saw the date. I was like, do we have anything planned? Looked at our calendar. I'm like, damn it, we have a review that day for
Man,
Wrestle Kingdom.
Our calendar's nuts.
But that is okay though, because even though not WWE related, but wrestling related, I get to still go to a pay-per-view in Los Angeles because Revolution for AEW is happening at the Crypto Arena, which is I know. But don't worry, hopefully we will all be together in person during WrestleMania weekend. We will figure that out as we go along with all of that.
We'll talk about that. I have one or two things that we'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it afterwards. But let us jump. So that is pretty much all the news bit for Monday Night Raw, as well as Travis Scott is going to be in charge of the music and the theming for the new era of Monday Night Raw. So that's going to be interesting. Stay tuned for more. But with all that news bits out of the way, let's just jump straight into Monday Night Raw, which took place in Grand Rapids, Michigan at the Van Andel Arena. And we just opened up. Don't waste no time. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez are in the ring to address all the drama that's been
with
going
sunglasses on in November at night.
That is a thing that has happened. So Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez opened up Monday Night Raw this week. Again, everything that goes down with this night, they don't even get a couple of words in before Nia and Tiffany Stratton come in. The heels are together. Candice LeRae is also here. But then they get interrupted by Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and Naomi. So all of Black Girl Magic is out there. And they have beef with all five of these individuals. But they know that they didn't come to alone. So as the three of them wait there, first Io Sky's music hits. And then the four of them go down to the ring. And basically, this is to set up our women's War Games match. Liv Morgan, does the classic heel thing. It's like, I don't think the math is mathing you guys. There's 5 of us and 4 of you. So I don't, this is still going to be easy for us. And then, of course, this is my brutality hits. And Rhea Ripley wearing a Dashing Cody Rhodes mask as she has broken her orbital bone comes down, wastes no time, gets into the ring, shouts War Games, and proceeds to headbutt Liv Morgan, which then has everybody brawl. The faces are standing tall by the end of this. And essentially, we have our women's War Games match set. It is going to be Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, Naomi, Io Sky, and Rhea Ripley taking on the team of Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, and Candice LeRae. Though by Friday Night SmackDown, that lineup has changed, which we will talk about when we get to SmackDown. But yeah, this is what opens it up. Of course, the internet already spoiled this because this was a pre-taped edition of Raw because they did a double taping last Monday. So this is what the pre-taped looked like.
Why are they doing the double taping? Are they just trying to catch up in the cycle for when Netflix starts or what?
So from what I could find, they're doing the double taping. So this Monday Night Raws ended up being double taped, and then this upcoming SmackDown was taped last Friday. So that way, this entire week leading into Survivor Series, Monday Night Raw will be live. The Friday will be pre-taped, which will allow the wrestlers to have an extended break
and just do
the
all
holidays
promos
and
all
everything.
week and holidays and whatnot. Yeah, I mean the whole, not to be the old person and we got other stuff to talk to. They got rid of a lot of the pre-tape stuff from what that was the thing for years, and then around 2000,
SmackDown was like all pre-taped.
5 and 4, they were like, internet's a thing. We can't do this anymore. It's ruined. Like 20 minutes after we tape it, but. Fair enough.
Yeah, that is fair. I mean, this opening segment sets up what we would be getting for our women's War Games match, but then that changes once again when we get to SmackDown. So from here, we get a tail of the tape as we are getting ready to have Seth and Big Bronson Reed take on each other later in the evening in the main event. And then we get into, our first match of the whole entire night, which is the LWO
which is Rey Mysterio and Zelina Vega taking on American Made of Chad Gable and Ivy Nile in a mixed tag team match. I'm actually kind of excited that WWE is deciding to do more with mixed match tags. I mean, NXT has been doing that for a little bit. Main roster seems to be doing so. Though I am tired of LWO and American Made fighting, but who knows what's going to happen with all of this. My move of the whole entire night comes from this match in which Rey Mysterio does like an assisted pop-up, but not for a power bomb, and like throws Zelina Vega to give her extra height, which then goes into a poison Rana off the top rope from Zelina Vega to Chad Gable. It is a thing of beauty.
I saw that out of context on Instagram. Like, what in the hell is that?
I was like, this is the Zelina Vega I need the whole entire time through, which ultimately allows LWO to pick up the victory here. So Rey Mysterio and Zelina Vegas are your winners.
This was my favorite part of the match was watching Chad Gable smack one of the Brutus brothers and the other Brutus brother just to laugh.
Okay, let's talk about what happened at the end of this. So LWO dips, American Made is in the ring. The Creed brothers come in to try to console Chad Gable, and then Chad Gable goes on and yells at everyone, slaps one of them, and then they just get broy hyped. I was like, okay then.
Can these guys start winning, please?
Yeah. I was
Can
like,
start German suplexing everybody like we're in Brock Lesnar in Suplex Cityville.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't hate that, but depends on your aesthetic. Please continue.
Yeah. But discourse and factions continue to be a thing because after this match, we cut to the Judgment Day Clubhouse. Finn Balor is in a very salty mood still. Like, Finn is just like not having it week after week. But then all of a sudden, this week he's a little bit better, and he's just like, hey, so we got to figure out what we're dealing with. Like Dominic and Carlito, you got this later tonight. And as soon as they leave, Balor asks, hey, JD, we got to talk in private, and we go off screen. And that's leaving Liv and Raquel as Raquel's trying to calm down Liv after getting beat up by the Faces earlier in the night. We will talk more about JD and Finn in a little bit. Then we get the best. Well, I mean, Miz is always great in these promos, but then this is a pre-tape promo, but this is the best that we have seen Karrion Kross, in my opinion. So we get this pre-tape promo with the Miz and Karrion Kross talking about how they, attacked the Wyatt Six last week. And, again, and shout out to homie of the channel, Nick, who kind of put this out in Nostradamus how he said that Miz, I need to hear him say that he already knows the Wyatt's playbook because this is the first time he's been kidnapped for him. And Miz mentioned it in the promo. He's like, I know what these guys are thinking. This is not the first time I've had to deal with the Wyatts in its entirety. Even though it's a new, fresh coat of paint, I know how they operate. And I'm like, oh my God, Nick put this out.
Nick was also feeling the Nostradamus stuff. Him and I went 2 for 2 on those. We'll talk about it.
Oh my goodness. But then Karrion Kross steps up, and this is the Karrion Kross that I need to see every single week. Karrion says that the Wyatts are a bunch of wounded people using each other to feel better about themselves, and that Kross is the one in control, and it's time for things to change. And then he ends by saying tick tock, and then we go to fade to black, and I'm just like, this is the Karrion Kross that needed to be on this roster from the very beginning. I'm so happy that we're finally getting here, because now hopefully if this continues, he can lose the moniker of generic wrestler 375. Or here's hoping.
And they've been trying, right? And I'm not sure why they've held him in that position for so long. We've talked about it for like a year. Like, let him break out and do something different. Come on.
Like what he does on social media. His social media stuff is awesome.
Oh, his social media game is amazing. I love it. That's the Karrion Kross that I want to see. He is great, and also he is such a great dude. Like, I love watching his interviews on the Chris Van Vliet podcast or anywhere that's not in WWE interviews, because he's just so intelligent and such a down-to-earth dude. But he is a scary mofo when he gets into character, and that's what I need to see. So speaking of scary mofos, we head backstage with Gunther talking to Ludwig Kaiser. they've been kind of beefing a little bit, but it seems that they're on the same page for now. And Gunther says that he's going to take care of Damian, and Damian's not going to make it to Survivor Series. So Gunther, as Damian is sitting in a very nice office chair signing some stuff, Gunther tries to attack Damian, but it doesn't work out in Gunther's favor as Damian like thrashes Gunther and knocks him to the ground. And as Gunther is laying there, regretting his choices, Damian Priest probably has the coldest line of this week. And it's just like, Gunther, oye, you might in the ring, you might be the ring general, but in the streets, I'm the king. And then Adam Pearce walks in and is like, what happened? Is like, just having some words with your champ. I gotta go. And then just leaves Gunther lying on the floor as Adam Pearce and Medical are coming to check him. I'm like, this Damian is amazing and I need it all the time. I love this. And I actually kind of like that they are kind of chipping away at Gunther a little bit. I don't think Damian's winning, or who knows? Yeah, I don't think Damian's going to win at Survivor Series, but you know what? They're doing a good job making me believe that he actually has a chance.
Yeah.
I love it.
Not like the street general.
Oof. I know. The ring general. Yeah. That's a Friday thing that we'll talk about, because we'll talk about Donnie Darko Shinsuke in a little bit. Oh my goodness. But we get ready as we see the War Raiders warming up. They're going to be facing Dominic Mysterio and Carlito later in the night, which then leads into our next match. This is a WWE Intercontinental Championship match. Sheamus versus Braun Breaker, a.k.a. Bronze Breaker, a.k.a. the dogs are barking. Commentary kept playing up that this is the only belt that Sheamus has yet to win in order to complete his whole entire circuit of a champion, because he's won every single title that has been in circulation in WWE except for the Intercontinental Championship. And in my mind, I was like, oh, he's about to lose. This is what's going to happen. This match was as brutal as I thought it was going to be. Braun is out here. Sheamus is out here. They brutalize each other. But of course, Braun ends up winning, but not by his own volition, because the match gets thrown out because of a disqualification, no contest, because Ludwig Kaiser sticks his nose into the business and attacks Braun and Sheamus. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, triple threat ? Because I would kind of be here for this.
Yeah, Nick was kind of talking about this last week too, where it was sort of where they're going to go, how they're going to do this, how do they make me care about the Sheamus thing? And I don't want to say it's a cop-out, but sort of the way to make us really care is now it's a triple threat. But who is that third going to be? And I guess we found out. I did not watch Raw. I don't watch the Raw. This is the match that other folks were texting me and telling me about throughout the week, though. Like, did you see? So apparently it was really, really good. I got to go back and watch it.
Ludwig Kaiser also randomly appeared on a German indie show this past week too.
Yeah, which is interesting because WWE has been more allowing like superstars to go do like these independent shows, which is interesting. I mean, Shinsuke is going back to Japan in January to fight in wrestling Noah, which I love too. Which
Papa Helmsley, man, like he's letting them.
Like Shawn Michaels sent 2 NXT kids to participate in the Noah Grand Prix, which is like the equivalent of New Japan's, G1 Climax. We have a Pro Wrestling Noah star who is now going to do an excursion in NXT. He made his on-screen debut this past Tuesday, which is super exciting. Things are looking great where we are opening up the phone line, so to speak. And then not to mention that WWE has their ID program where they are signing independent talent to kind of have like, and it's some folks that we're used to with the other promotions, like Jack Cartwheel got signed, Miss Smiley Kylie Ray, a couple GCW folks, which I'm going to tell Professor because we had a wild Ricky Starks appear at GCW this past weekend, which is crazy. We'll talk about that afterwards. But
really,
to talk about what you were saying, Professor, the Triple H era is kind of crazy because they are slowly working with these other smaller promotions and having people go over and things like that. So it's nice to see. So again, I would love to see a triple threat between Sheamus and Braun, and for Kaiser. Whether that is going to happen on television or at Survivor Series, we will have to find out from this week's shows. Alrighty, let's get into this crazy story, y'all, because the Bloodline is still down one member and they need to find a fifth member. So after the last 2 weeks of them trying to figure stuff out, they realize that, you know, we have to swallow Jimmy J, and then Jimmy J and Sammy are like, we need to go ask this man. So the three of them approach Seth Rollins. They ask him, hey, we're desperate. I know you and Roman hate each other, but we need you. You have history with the Bloodline. You hate them as much as we do with Solo and them. Would you be willing to lend us your talent? And Rollins is like, look, as much as I would love to destroy Bronson Reed in a cage, I refuse to work alongside Roman Reigns. He is a tyrant. He is evil. And I'm sorry, y'all, but you're going to have to figure this one and count me out. And then Seth leaves. So Seth is not in the War Games match. And at this point of the evening, I was like, well, if Seth is not going to be, I'm very interested who Roman's team gets for a fifth member. Stay tuned for more on that. Which is crazy. So again, we get an announcement that the first episode of the Netflix era of Raw will be coming live Monday, January 6th from the Inuit Dome in Los Angeles, California. Hopefully it does better than the Mike Tyson, Jake Paul fight.
Oh my
and
God.
A little bit less of booty cheeks being frozen on people's screens because of the buffering.
My God. I can't. The wrong place to talk about this, but I can't believe I watched that thing. I was so mad. They got me. They got me again. Never again.
They got Miguel. They got
Never
Miguel. I love it. So, we get a video package, which makes me super excited. Dakota Kai has been on the shelf for the last 4 months, but she is ready. And hopefully they will do more with Dakota Kai. And so then we get into our tag team match. So after it's being announced that tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw, there will be an advantage match between Bianca Belair and Nia Jax to see which team gets the advantage for War Games. But next up, we have the Judgment Day, which is Dirty Dominic Mysterio and Carlito taking on the War Raiders. This was a really fun match. Not surprised that Dominic and Carlito ended up losing in this match. Once again, the Judgment Day can't pick up a victory. But of course, as the War Raiders are the number one contenders to the Tag Team Championships, we got to continue to make them look strong. I thought this was a really fun match. I love the catapult power slam from the War Raiders on Carlito to pick up the victory here. I actually really love this. This is great. The War Raiders are back in full effect. I have missed them, and I am happy they are back. Also, Ivar's doing great. Stem cells will do that to you guys.
What do you think Rey Mysterio can start running around like the crazy madman he is?
Why were they called the War Raiders? Was there a reason that they were like, we're going to change this?
Okay, so back in the day, so when these two signed, they were originally underneath Shawn Michaels and Triple H. In the black and gold era of NXT, they were originally known as the War Raiders.
Okay, so this is the original.
So this is the OG. Then they came up to main roster, and then of course Vince got a hold of them. Then they went from War Raiders to the Viking Experience for a little bit. Then they went to the Viking Raiders. That stuck for a little bit, and now they're back to being the War Raiders, which I love. They are still Viking-esque, but now they got leather jackets, which makes it cooler.
I guess. I kind of like Vikings. Anyway, carry on. My interruption.
I love it. But yeah. But let's talk about what happened after the match. So Finn Balor and JD come out. They attack the War Raiders. They target the necks, which was the source of why both of these men were out for so long to begin with. And then Finn hits a coup de grace. Whenever we get this match between the Judgment Day and the War Raiders, I need Triple H to give those tag titles to the War Raiders, because the Judgment Day have had 160 days as champion. They've only defended them once since winning them. Yeah, Professor, you're looking at me.
Really?
I kid you not. They've only had one title defense of these things.
That doesn't come. Maybe I'm just because I'm not watching Raw. That's odd, though. They've had like 3 PLEs in there, and they haven't touched them at all.
Nope.
Why? That's
I
boring.
don't know. It's now the roles are reversed because now we're seeing the women's tag team championships to be defended more. And
Sure,
literally,
yeah.
since the Motor City Machine Guns have won the tag team titles, we've already seen 2 title defenses
Yes.
from them.
It's on the radar. Like now would be a good time to do more. Come on.
I know. I'm just like, come on, you guys, get it together. So we also get a video package that Lyra Valkyria is about to come for everybody, which makes me excited. We're doing a lot of these are probably going to be our mainstays once Raw goes to Netflix era, making sure everybody gets their time. Backstage, Alpha Academy is with Kofi Kingston. So Maxine Dupree, Otis, and Akira Tozawa are talking with Kofi. You know, the New Day 10-year anniversary is coming up, and we are inching ever so closer to heartbreak. But, you know, Alpha Academy talked with Kofi about what's next for them, how it feels about celebrating 10 years of the New Day. Xavier comes up and says, you know, they never had a fight. They've always been on the same page, but now they're fighting all the time. Xavier keeps thinking about Karrion Kross for some odd reason. What he said regarding the New Day being dead. Kofi tries to tell Xavier that Karrion doesn't know what he's talking about. Otis steps in to kind of diffuse the situation. Xavier then begins to verbally criticize Otis, and we are getting the New Day and the Alpha Academy in a match next week. Xavier was letting them have it, calling them losers, like they don't know what it's like to win, so they have no room to talk. I'm like, damn, Xavier. I was like, all right then. And I'm thinking, I was like, this Xavier heel turn is going to be great. But what if, and hear me out, this is just a ploy all along, and we get a swerve, not Strickland, but it ends up being Kofi who goes heel and was playing Xavier the whole entire time. I like Xavier as a heel better, though.
I mean, that's kind of the bait and switch that's already in there, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
That's not quite a Vince McMahon turn, but it's close. That's interesting. I don't hate that. I don't know. I've never seen Austin as a heel, though. Have you? Has he ever?
I don't even think Consequence Creed when he was in TNA was a heel.
He wasn't even a heel then. He was just mean, right? But he was never like a heel.
Yeah.
I just want Big E to come back.
I know, me too. Even if it's just an on-screen thing, I miss Big E's presence. Maybe he is going to be the thing that either heals or further splits the New Day. We shall see with all of that. Alrighty. But crazy enough, you guys, we get into our main event of Monday Night Raw. Again, 2-hour Raws are great. I'm not looking forward to them going back to 3 hours come January. And even the reports that SmackDown will also be 3 hours. I feel like for some reason SmackDown would be easier to do a 3-hour transition because I'm already used to 2 hours, and at least it'll give the talent on SmackDown more to do. Hopefully. But we get to our main event, Big Bronson Reed versus Seth freaking Rollins. Again, this is a rematch from Crown Jewel, which is the pay-per-view that does not get covered here on this channel, as you all know and love. Again, on paper, this was great. Bronson Reed doing stuff, Seth Rollins doing stuff. This is literally not an exact replica, but if you saw the Crown Jewel match, this is exactly what it was, just condensed into a television version with the additive of Solo Sikoa and the Bloodline getting involved in this match, causing the distraction for Seth. I love this because due to the distraction, Bronson is able to grab Seth and hits a Death Valley driver, which is a beautiful thing, followed by 2 tsunami splashes for Reed to pick up the victory.
That's a lot to take.
That is a lot to take. It is. Bronson is a big boy, and that's a lot of meat that comes crashing down on you. But Seth is lying on the floor, hurting after getting hit with the Death Valley driver and the 2 tsunamis. Solo Sikoa and Bronson Reed are celebrating as Monday Night Raw goes off the air. And that is our Monday Night Raw recap. Again,
nice,
short, sweet, to the point, 2 hours and 30 minutes.
I agree with you. I think that pushing it to 3 hours could, I don't know Raw like I should. Pushing SmackDown to 3 hours when it's already kind of a soap opera, it's going to be tough. And especially some of the things that SmackDown did this week that upset me as far as how they treated some of these matches and some of the commercial things. I'm like, oh God, you just want 45 minutes for commercials. Like, you don't even want matches anymore in a way, but we'll talk about that.
Alrighty. Well, I mean, we don't have to wait long because now we are going to find ourselves into the land of the Smacketh of Downs.
Mm-hmm.
So now we find ourselves in the land of SmackDown. So this took place in the Delta Center in Salt Lake City, Utah, Friday, November 22nd, 2024. So once again, we opened up as we normally do with Friday Night SmackDown, and the Bloodline comes out. So we kick off with the Bloodline this week. But it is the Temu version, as this is Bloodline 2.0. So Solo Sikoa with Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, and Jacob Fatu, and Big
I love you,
Solo.
Can we just say that Jacob Fatu is the best thing for this new version of the Bloodline? Like, watching his MLW promos is so amazing. The promos he cut in MLW.
Well, that and them actually letting Solos like do things because Solo's fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
letting Solo be comedic actually works for him now. It's just like it's so funny, and I love it. But you know, Bloodline 2.0 comes into the ring. Everybody is in there. Solo tells the crowd to acknowledge him, but they boo. The crew is ready to dominate War Games, and then the crowd begins to chant OTC. And of course, Solo basically says that they are always ready, but Roman is not. Solo says that Roman Reigns is not even in the building yet. And Solo gives him one more chance to meet him into the middle of the ring and accept his terms of surrendering, as he knows that Roman cannot find a fifth member for War Games. And so then he drops the microphone and then they leave. So again, I thought this was a very short but solid opening segment. This did what it needed to set up what happens at the very end of the show. It didn't take up like 30 minutes. So good job, SmackDown.
Yeah, this easily could have been a bloated 20-minute thing, right? But they're getting to the point, which is good. They're leaning on the story they've already built, which is good. Solo is getting better on the mic. There was a while there where we were like, hey, he's kind of struggling. He's got to, but I think letting him relax a little into it, I think they can overplay that whole I'm the heel thing, and then they get stuck riffing and improvising or whatever else like that. I kind of love just watching Bronson Reed stand back there and being like, oh man, look at the force of the five of them is incredible.
He fits so perfectly.
So well.
Surprisingly well to that group. And I would love just to see a tag team of Jacob Fatu and Bronson Reed. Like, who the hell's going to stop that?
Oh my gosh.
Like, you have the Gorillas of Destiny and the Islands of Destiny, or whatever you want to call them, because they're just massive.
The Gorillas of Destiny and the Atomic Bombs.
Atomic Bombs.
Damn.
Oh my God. There's a lot of jokes I want to make, but I don't want to get in trouble. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. Keep going.
We've been here for 40 minutes. You can say it.
No, that is very true. That is very, very true. Alrighty. So that is what opened up. And then we immediately get into our first match of the evening, which is another Women's United States Championship Tournament triple threat match. This time we see Bianca Belair versus Chelsea Green versus Blair Davenport. It's so nice to see Blair back on my screen. I felt like she was missing for a little bit, but now she was back. So prior to, what happens in the middle of this match, I thought this was a really solid match, and I thought everybody was doing great. Chelsea and Blair and Bianca, these three actually had really good chemistry together. I was just like, all right. I mean, the last match we had was fun and everything, but I was like, all right, these three girls are bringing it.
This match was incredible. It should not have been picture-in-picture for 75% of it.
Yes, that is
absolutely.
I was
so mad about that. Because as I was watching it, granted, I was a little distracted. I was doing other things. And then I was like, oh, this is getting really good. So I stopped everything to watch this. And then there's this commercial. They made it. I was like, no. And I get the dreaded picture-in-picture that another promotion does. Fine. But they did some wild stuff in here. They had great chemistry. This is probably the best. I'm going to go out on a limb. The best Blair Davenport has looked the last few months here. I know I missed a month or so.
Since coming to the main roster, at least.
Yeah. She's had some hiccups. We don't know where to put her. We don't know what to do. She didn't have great chemistry with a few folks. This was great. Chelsea Green looked strong. Bianca Belair looked really strong. That double suplex, whatever that was, thing. Like, oh my god,
it was amazing. And then of course, I love Chelsea Green. Anytime she hits the Rough Rider, her husband's finishing move, or is so fantastic. But as it looks like Bianca is about to, pull a win out, we cut to the Titantron as we see. I love how. I'm not a theater person, but I loved how this was actually staged. I thought it was great. They actually did the thing. We cut backstage into like the loading dock area where Jade Cargill sprawled out like a, Law and Order SVU victim on this windshield, on the broken windshield, might I add, which is a nice subtle touch. And everybody's trying to figure out somebody attacked Jade. And Bianca is like, oh, hell no. And then she proceeds to leave the match. So then it just becomes on one-on-one.
Well, it wasn't quite, oh, hell no. There was a little bit of like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do?
She's like, I got to go check on my friend. And then she decides to run backstage, which allows, in the chaos, allows Chelsea Green to pick up the win against Blair Davenport. So moving on to the next round is Chelsea Green. And I'm like,
yeah, I think that was smart. We talked about that last week with Nick too, where we were like, I really like to see Chelsea Green move on, but we think it's going to be Bianca Belair because that's just the hand that they play. This is great. Now it's really interesting and kind of fun, which is what we were calling for. Like, give me an upset, give me something different. And now Chelsea Green, who showed out, I mean, it's going to be fun. It's going to be great.
She is so good, and I'm so happy that she's getting a push. I hope that she ends up. I'm not gonna lie. There's a couple of women on her side of the bracket I want to see, but I would love to see Chelsea make it to the finals.
Yeah. And not to go full on order on you, there was something kind of weird about that crime scene that we looked at, where it was sort of, how did you get that close to the edge of the loading dock? Why was there a car strategically placed there?
Right.
It's all staged.
There's a whole lot of referees, none of them medics. How come there's a lot of exposition things which are like, hang on a second. And if she was suplexed, she's facing the wrong way. If she was shoved, she was on the hood, not the window. So I don't know. I love the theater of it though. You're right. It was a hell of a shot. So it looked good. It's always interesting to me. And they've done this since Triple H has come in too. These sort of, we need an ambulance things, or these outdoor things that we've been talking about, which was a nod to the 90s Raws and Smackdowns and things like that. Cinematically, this looked great, and it set up the rest of the show. And now you have the sort of whodunit, what happened to Jade Cargill thing, and they can run with this for a while. So I think it's fun.
Naomi did it.
I would love for Naomi to be the culprit.
Naomi did it. Bailey did it. Piper did it. I mean, there's some interesting thoughts there. Yeah.
Alexa Bliss did it.
Yo, I mean, that's a far shot, but if Alexa came back in this capacity, that'd be great. And I'm just imagining, or it could be who's been messing with everything. It was Jade. Oh
yeah, I was gonna say Jade did it to herself. Yeah, just be like,
or
it was me. Use a photo of her jumping onto the car.
Right. It was Agatha. Oh, long. Y'all need to go check Agatha Covenant. Her show is so good. That was so good. Anyways, that's besides the point. Ultimately, I thought this was a fun triple threat. I also love this angle now we're getting with Jade because it took Bianca out of the match, and now we're thinking who attacked Jade, which is also probably going to have some implications about. Well, I mean, later in the week, WWE put out that Jade has sustained XYZ injuries, and so she's going to be out for a little bit, which means I was like, alrighty, well, that means Jade is no longer in War Games, so
yeah.
When we see all the girls, as Jade is being loaded up into the ambulance, pretty much without, getting the official confirmation, it seems that Bailey is going to be ending up in the spot for Jade. And so Bailey, which is going to be interesting because remember, Bianca still hates Bailey. And Naomi is still caught like a child of divorce in the middle of those two. So I cannot wait. And Chelsea getting a big pop for her entrance, and the crowd being so behind her and winning just makes it even more special. Alrighty. Yeah. Again, talked about, the girls with Nick Aldis. Bianca gets into the ambulance with Jade as it drives off. And then we waste no time because then we just get straight into our second match of the evening. Surprisingly, this is for the United States Championship. This is L.A. Knight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Taking on
how many times has he
Santos
defended-
Escobar for like the 50th time.
I was gonna say, how many times has he defended this, and how many times has he defended this to Escobar?
I feel like at least 50%.
It's been, he's defending it, which is great. He's a fighting champion, which is fantastic. But I think this is at least Santos's third crack at it, and he's just not doing it.
No, I will say though,
belt or something, but
yeah,
not working.
Nah, it's not working. I will say though, this was actually a really good match between the two.
Oh yeah, this was fun. This was great, and that little bit of a Shinsuke anime intro that we were calling for last week, getting in LA Knight's head at the top and then sneaking in. I thought that was a brilliant touch. I'm excited to see that. This match, as good as it was, and it was quite good. There was some great, solid things in here. It was a tight, 6-7 minutes, I want to say. We're doing the long-term storytelling thing in the right way. I'm very intrigued. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, because Shinsuke appears on the ramp towards the tail end of this match. LA Knight wins, but then Shinsuke runs down and throws LA Knight into the ring post several times. And then we get a, Kinshasa from Nakamura. Okay, so I'm going to be honest with you guys here because transparency is a thing we believe here in BC Wrestle Pod.
Uh-oh.
I love this look for Shinsuke. I love this anime villain-esque intros that we're getting in his vignettes again because I have missed them. I need WWE to restore my faith in them because every time we do something fun with Shinsuke, it never pans out the way it needs to or it gets dropped immediately.
Oh, yeah.
Let him win.
I'm like, let Shinsuke win. Do something good with my boy. Shinsuke, I love him so much, but WWE has played in my face so many times.
There's a lot of, you have to have, I'm going to, let me know if I say anything that's pseudo controversial and then we can move on. You have to be a certain type of wrestler to really feed what Shinsuke does, right? To take that strong style, I'm going to hit you harder than you've ever been hit before type of stuff. And LA Knight is definitely strong enough. Seth Rollins was definitely strong enough, like could feed that style. And there was a few on the dark sides of the internet, folks jumping on LA Knight again, saying he's generic, this and this and this. LA Knight has done nothing but get better. And he's just sort of the blue collar. I got 20 moves. I'm going to use all 20 and they're all going to look clean and crisp. He's great. He's not the finesse guy. He knows exactly what he is and he's great. Him versus Shinsuke, I think they could pull the best out of each other. That's a long way of me saying that. There's some stuff that Shinsuke could probably do to LA Knight that he can't do to others. There's some stuff that LA Knight's going to have to do to match Shinsuke. I'm very intrigued.
I am too.
I'm sending this to you guys. I apologize. I saw a meme where it's from Avengers and it's showing the Black Widow after she jumped off the edge and died, and the next to her is Jade Cargill in her pose.
Once again, the internet does what it does best.
No, the internet is undefeated.
I love it. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited. Who knows? We might, if we're not getting this on a TV match soon, I wouldn't be surprised if we get this match made for Survivor Series.
Sure.
Who knows? This is going to be great. Alrighty. So with that being said, we move on from this fun match. So backstage, Johnny, also a child of divorce, is talking to the Motor City Machine Guns.
Carry on. Good line. Keep going.
I know. I'm telling you, SmackDown has a lot of quote-unquote divorcee children in here. Naomi's caught in the middle between Bianca and Bailey. Johnny is caught between the Motor City Machine Guns and Tommaso Ciampa with what Tommaso did last week. But Johnny is talking to the Motor City Machine Guns. He is simultaneously apologizing while also trying to get DIY a tag team championship match, which is fair because they haven't gotten a rematch yet. But the Motor City Machine Guns are like, bro, after what Tommaso did last week, I feel that we as champions owe the Street Profits a rematch because they didn't get a true shot at trying to take these titles from us. And then the Street Profits, decked out in all black, which is I love, come over and they say that they still have next and tell Johnny to tell Tommaso Ciampa that, that's what's going to happen. And, Angelo Dawkins tells Johnny that Tommaso's bad news for you, bro. I was just like, you need to get rid of him. And it's like, some snakes don't need to hide in the grass as everybody leaves. I'm like, damn, Dawkins, you just cold. That was a cold line, bro.
Mm-hmm. They got all the good lines this week.
I'm just like, as they should. Oh man, but this was fantastic. I really love this. And you know what? Johnny's gonna have to figure it out because he's gonna have to tell Tommaso at some point. And does Johnny Tommaso, or does he, do we see something else happen with DIY? Tune in to find out later. So back to, we see the original OTC Bloodline arrive at the arena. We cut to commercial. And Nick is playing detective as he's asking the women's locker room if anybody know what happened to Jade. Nia says she doesn't know. She doesn't care. And she's upset because she wanted to take out Jade during the War Games match. But you know what? She's got better things to do, and she's going to help Tiffany and Candice get ready for their match. And then at this time, Cody walks in. Nick tries to stop Cody, but Cody does the thing where he is, he's pissed off. And so Cody ends up going down to the ring. And this is where we get the verbal exchange between Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is always fantastic on the right. And you guys, I knew this was going to happen, but I do not disagree with Kevin Owens as to why he did the things that he did. And I'm just like, the bloodline tried to ruin his career, tried to take him out. And he feels betrayed from Cody Rhodes that he would team up with somebody who tried to take out his, his livelihood. And I'm like, Kevin Owens is not wrong, you guys. He's not.
Yeah. And all three of us have worked with children at various stages of development, going from 10 to 18 or from 18 to 23 or 25, sometimes older. This is the perfect brother fight, right? I'm right. You're wrong. Actually, what you're saying is wrong and I'm right. And both of them are right to the outside observers, right? So they've kind of played this really, really well. There's something about the, Kevin Owens has a very interesting innocence and sense of heart for being the underdog that he is, right? There's sort of this like everyman lovable feel when you look at Kevin Owens, even though he's the prize fighter, even though he's everything else, right? But there's just this sense of like, yeah, you're warm and cuddly almost. There's not, you know what I mean, right? There's the sense of that. Cody, you're absolutely right. He is that American hero. And Kevin dips into the Reddit calling him, yeah, you look like a politician, right? Goes into the internet and the things that other people have been saying and throws it right back at him and go, you get everything you want. You come out here like this and this. I wore my finest attire. Like there's something in the dialogue here that's, in my opinion, some of the better promo and acting we've seen all year in this one.
I agree.
Right? If we're still doing the category of promos of the year, like this one is one for me, could end up on my list, even though it's not a traditional promo. There's something about this that feels so real, so visceral, so much like an acting class. Like, damn, there it is. Do this every time. That was great.
Oh, absolutely. Speaking of which, boys, stay tuned for a text message later today from me because the form is going out today.
What? No, it is.
No, I'm just kidding. You know what? I'll wait until next week. Let's get through Survivor.
I got so much stuff. I'm not going to be able to catch up on all these things. Oh, I'll do what I can.
I'll send it out next week, and it's not. You have until you have 2 weeks from next Sunday to kind of.
You should have been here for the last one, dude. I surprised everybody with my squad that I drafted, man.
Yeah, we had a really fun draft episode, but yeah, I'm hoping everybody is able to make that one because that's going to be the big end of the year one, and that ends up being fun. But adding to what you said, Professor, not just Kevin, I feel this is what Cody has needed in his championship title run. Now that we are past him and the bloodline, because this was a more passionate Cody, and this is what we need to see all the time. Cody kind of closes us out in this segment that Cody telling Kevin that he doesn't think he hates him, that he hates himself.
Yeah.
And that Kevin forgets that Cody is not afraid to that Owens thinks that Cody will not cross but Cody says there is not a single line that he won't cross. And so I think this is setting up. This is going to end up probably being the main event for the Saturday night main event in December. I think this is what's main eventing that show.
Sure. And they even Cody even hinted at it as the afterthought, right? Maybe it's this, maybe it's this, maybe it's the Saturday night. I haven't, just for the lore of anyone who's catching up with Biconic stuff, I have not written a promo of the year since September. I have 10 here now. I haven't written a promo that really affected me since September. Granted, I was gone for 6-7 weeks, but there's some fascinating.
Definitely. I'm super excited.
Homelander Cody.
Homelander Cody. We shall see what happens with all of this. We cut backstage with the Usos, Sammy, and Roman trying to figure out, bro, we haven't found a fifth person. What are we going to do? And Roman's like, I have an idea, guys. We don't need a fifth person.
If and I just we die together because you know what? Drink the Kool-Aid.
I love that the Usos and Sammy were like, are you crazy? Like, no.
But then Sammy was like, yeah, I'll die with you. Okay, great. Let's do this. What are you doing now?
Sami Zayn, come on now. We have played this game before. No. I love that Jimmy and Jer is like, nah, fam. We need to find a fifth person. But, you know, they're like, sorry, this is crazy.
It's just funny the way the bloodline is using die now. We're going to die. You're going to die. We die. Today we die. It's perfect, you know, Fast and Furious. It's family. Like we're doing the 90s melodrama action movie stuff. You're going to die. Stuff. I love it. I think it's funny.
I love that. So backstage, we see a heated Cody Rhodes walking, and he runs into Carmelo Hayes, the craziness of all people. And, you know, Carmelo says it's about time somebody else told Cody about himself. Cody gets mad at Carmelo and asks him, you know, what he said. Carmelo says he's just saying the truth. And Carmelo says, you know, that the truth about Orton being next. And then just Cody getting into a fight with Carmelo. Nick Aldis comes in to break it up. And then Cody tells Nick that he should reevaluate his first round draft pick. I'm like, damn, Cody not burying Carmelo Hayes.
Yeah, he blew him up with that one. That was a big line.
I was like, damn.
Yeah. So we talked about this 2-3 weeks ago. We're starting to see hints of what a Cody heel turn could be, right? It could be everyone thinks I'm the enemy. Fine, I'll be the enemy. Like, and what it would take to get Cody to that spot. Whether or not they push for that, how long that goes. If it's angry politician Cody picking matches, but he could do it in a very spurned hero supervillain way, right? Where we're almost, I hate you, why are you doing this? We know you're better kind of thing. And I think it could pull it off. Granted, it will be at the expense of Kevin Owens.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah. Carmelo Hayes is about to get destroyed on Friday.
Oh, and Carmelo's going to get beaten to death. He going to die this Friday.
He going to die.
He going to die.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, that and the Kendrick Lamar mustard is freaking been stuck in my head this whole entire week.
Mustard on a beat, huh? Mustard!
I got to make that a sound for us here at BC Wrestle Pod. But anyways, all right, let's just.
There's a reason we don't have a soundboard anymore, Mike.
No, that is very true.
Not give us that power again.
See, I'd rather talk about this because I don't want to talk about what next because I was like, this is hella short. But Bayley and. Yeah, so this is interesting.
Yeah.
Bayley and it's Naomi fine. Versus Tiffany and Candice with Nia Jax. This match was short. We just didn't get to where it needed to. Bayley and Naomi win. Like, I was sad by this match.
Yeah, I didn't dislike it. I see what we were doing, right? We sort of needed the all hands on deck. let's remind everyone who's going to be here next week. And everybody gets into the ring thing. I don't dislike that. I would have liked to see a little bit more. The bar was set really high at the top of the show with that triple threat, even with the picture in picture, right? Like and the crowd was still into it. This happens rarely. And Mike and I have talked about this. I think Minnie was here for some of those conversations too. It's very rare that the promo sets the bar, the match has to follow. Normally it's the match sets the bar, the promo has to follow. You had a hell of a promo sequence here. They could have risen to it. They just didn't give them the time to cook. And then you got all these other elements on top. Like, it's tough.
It definitely is. And then, of course, everything that happens afterwards, we've got to remind folks, don't forget, Women's War Games match happening this upcoming week. Rhea Ripley's music hits, and of course, she is probably the biggest women's wrestler right now that WWE has on the main roster outside of Bianca.
Yeah.
So she is, everybody loves her. I love Rhea. Mommy forever.
Mommy.
Great. So we shall see. And then we just jump straight into our next match, which was also really good. Montez versus Tommaso. I'm like, give Montez the championship is what I wrote in my notes for this one. Like, Montez is just so freaking good. Like,
we were calling for this a while ago, right? See them as singles guys. See what they can do. It'll be heartbreaking to see the Street Profits fade away for a little while, but they can come back anytime. We saw that a little bit with New Day too. Like, let them go cause some havoc. Like
let them spread their wings and be peacocks.
Yes. Another joke that writes itself. You can get your peacockery out of here. There's a lot in there. I'm excited for them. I think it could be great. I don't want them to turn on each other ever because I think they're great together. I love since Bobby Lashley kind of left, they've been given, all right, fine, find your direction. And they're kind of carving out something interesting. I really want to know what's going to happen.
I think so too. Montez wins. I'm super happy. But then, of course, Tommaso decks Montez from behind. Dawkins runs down. They get into a fight. Johnny's here. DIY and the Profits are fighting in the ring. Johnny and Tommaso argue. Ciampa, for the second week in the row, pushes Johnny Gargano to the floor and then storms out. And then the Motor City Machine Guns, come out. I'm like, these three teams are going to be in and out for this championship over the next couple of months, maybe. And I'm actually kind of okay with this.
It's going to be perfect. Yeah, it's going to be great. They're doing the opposite of what Raw's doing with those tag titles, right?
Yeah. So then, that was pretty much, I guess that was it for SmackDown, you guys. Overall, it's pretty, just kidding. Because so this is where the most of our talking points are really going to come in from, honestly. So, Temu Bloodline versus OTC Bloodline. They come face to face. Everybody's down there. Solo tells Roman's team that they don't have a fifth man. They don't have a wise man. And Roman does not have a choice. He needs to surrender. Roman grabs the microphone, looking to speak. But then, before words are able to exit the mouth of Roman Reigns, over the loudspeakers we hear, "Ladies and gentlemen." And the crowd immediately popped. Roman sold it with his facial expression beautifully. He's like, "Oh my God, is that a ghost? Like, it's my friend. It's my homie. It is Paul Heyman up on the ramp." Roman looks shocked as Paul Heyman comes out. Paul Heyman looking great, wearing a shirt and a blazer, as he is known to do. And then, of course, we get the ever so lovely, and I've missed these words dearly, "My name is Paul Heyman," as the crowd immediately erupts. And, he needs to be forgiven because he was put through a table at Madison Square Garden, and perhaps his math is a little bit off, but there is no way to do a War Games match 4 against 5. No. The math does not compute. That it cannot be a 4-on-5. It has to be a 5-on-5. And I'm thinking, I was like, who is about to come out right now? Look in my eyes.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie, I may have yelled and woken up people inside my household when I was watching this. I was like, oh my god, it's actually happening.
I called this whole sequence last Friday. I made a joke about it. I said Paul Heyman comes back at the opportune moment and brings out Brock. Well, maybe not Brock. Maybe CM Punk. And then look at this a week later.
Simon Miller also predicted it too.
Oh, well, fucking all right. Well.
You know, honestly, I think
Simon, you're Timu Simon Miller, so I'll make sense.
I would love to be 99-cent Simon Miller.
We have Simon Miller at home.
Buy me. I'm the Simon Miller in the cupboard. That's the Simon Miller you want to buy from
we need
Target.
to get you and Simon Miller in the same room. I don't think Professor would ever leave.
The universe would explode. We would just start riffing and talking all.
We just gotta get Professor Simon Miller and Goldberg.
Different stages of
Grandpa, dad, son.
Oh my god. I thought this was brilliant. The crowd had a lovely hush where they were like, no way, because there was the tiniest bit of delay, which could have been a mistake, but it wasn't. You have the whole crowd go, no, and then the moment they kind of realized, boom, that music hit, and then just all the goosebumps. I thought it was great that CM Punk was all business. Dude's just taping up his hands and walks into the ring, and then
they fight.
Boom, like, oh, it's happening.
And then it was over.
The brawl breaks up. Roman and CM Punk are staring at each other. Paul Heyman in the background looking like a proud dad with his two problem children being on the same page for once. So let me tell you why I love this. So it's really fun to see CM Punk be involved in War Games. I mean, last year he returned at War Games, which was in Chicago last year. So happy now he's get to participate in this match. He has real life beef with Roman, which is great. This also sets up perfectly because CM Punk and Seth are about to fight after this.
What was his real life beef with Roman?
I think CM Punk said something to the equivalent of, especially when we were getting Roman forced down our throats, that Roman is not the next company guy. And so him and Roman went back and forth a little bit on that. And of course, Seth and Punk also have beef in relation to that as well, in terms of how they view wrestling and certain things. Right. But like story wise, this sets it up perfectly, because then Seth is going to see this. Then he's going to call out CM Punk. I was like, what the hell, man? I was just like, you are exactly what I called you out to be. You are a liar. You are nothing more than a disgrace. Like, we don't need you here. You cause problems everywhere you go. Also, shout out for Carmelo Hayes posting a picture of him and CM Punk backstage, and Carmelo being a troll, by the way, saying CM Punk gave me the best advice ever, how to win a backstage fight. And I'm like, damn, Melo.
Did you also see the CM Punk post where he posted the kid pictures of Usos?
Yeah,
Roman Reigns, Sami Zayn, he added himself to, like,
photoshopped himself into the family picture.
That's adorable.
It is amazing, but I love this.
I think this is great. If you were I don't want to say, if you were a mid 2000s wrestling fan and you've held on till now, could you imagine? Well, Mikey, yeah, like how this must feel like. To be like, there's no way that it would collide like this, and now it's colliding like.
If you'd have told me during the early beginnings of the Bloodline feud that there would be a Bloodline v Bloodline match, and somehow CM Punk is involved, I would have kicked you in the dick. Like,
yeah, I would have gone out of my way to kick you in the dick.
Yeah, like. It makes it does make sense, but back then I was like, Punk, what the right. Who are you? What is this, dude? Now it's just like, it makes sense, but it's dope.
It's absolutely a nod to Paul Heyman being as over as Paul Heyman is, right? And as good as the storylines that he has been consistently in and working on. When he can tie them together in a bow, there's nothing better. So. It should be textbook for all the other things we watch. And we go, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Look at how Heyman is weaved. It doesn't always work, but the way he's weaved in and out of these stories, and he knows when to take himself out. He knows when to go, hey, I have to be away from this for 4 months for this to sell here and sell there. Anyway, say what you will about CM Punk. Still a controversial guy. This is gonna be crazy.
Oh, absolutely. I am so excited. And I'm not going to lie, because of this surprise, not to say I wasn't invested in the men's match, but I was just like, we know where this is going. I'm still excited for it, but it's just like, I was not liking the fact, because I was like, if they had Seth to this, I'm actually might be a little mad, because it doesn't make sense that Seth and Roman hate each other still. So would it, they have not shown me on television them making amends or whatever, but now it makes sense for Punk, because Punk is a Paul Heyman guy. And so I'm actually excited for Punk to be on this team. And this is going to be interesting as we get ready for the go home shows this week. But gentlemen, that is how SmackDown goes off the air. And that is our recap of this week in WWE land. So yeah. If I have to give this a week, I give SmackDown. Between Raw and SmackDown, I give SmackDown the edge a little bit. I think SmackDown ended up being a lot better. Raw was still fun. I give a 7.5 out of 10 for this week's WWE. Raw was
collectively, both together?
Collectively.
Sure.
But yeah, it's definitely SmackDown had me more intrigued and invested. So if SmackDown continues to do it this way, I was just like, but I've enjoyed Raw because it's 2 hours. But I'm not looking forward to both shows being 3 hours come January. So I'm going to savor us. Alrighty. Yeah, go for it.
Meaning you watch both. What do you have before I talk about one of them?
SmackDown. Mike, I can't because Mikey just says everything, and I'm like, yeah, that's all. I agree with all that. They did good.
I agree that I only watched the SmackDown. I didn't have time to watch the Raw. I was at rehearsal. This is an 8.5 Raw SmackDown. Like it is. It's great. There's a few things they could tighten up here and there. They're making a 9, and I come from the school of thought of there are no 10s. Very rarely is there ever 10. I don't think I've given a 10 to a SmackDown ever. Maybe once in 2.5, 3 years. This is an 8.5. The way they bookended the show, they started with Bloodline, they ended with reveal Bloodline stuff. You have CM Punk willing to work in there. We have a Jade Cargill mystery. You have some of these matches are great. You have Shinsuke LA Knight. It was like, oh, that's going to be cool to watch in the future too. Like, where we're going is great. And it's funny that when I was doing this consistently 2 months ago, we were like, where are we going? What are we doing? It seems like it took them about 8 weeks to be like, okay, here's where we need to go. I'm interested to see where this DIY thing goes. I kind of love seeing Motor City Machine Guns just be in the thick of it and go, well, yeah, you want to beat us, and nobody can. Yeah, 8.5. It was great. It was fun.
You've come a long way of the days of us going, is this really worth reviewing this week? Nah,
oh man,
let's not review it.
Back when we had the rule of if it's 2 out of 10 empanadas, we're not going to watch it, and then we had like
5.
With less than 5, we're not going to watch it, and we had 3 weeks of like this was less than 5.
We're not like a month. We didn't do a review because it wasn't worth reviewing.
Right.
We just sent a tweet out going, "This shit sucks."
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Goodness gracious.
And then as soon as everything transpired with the certain previous owner in charge of everything, now we're like, you know what? WWE is kind of great again, you guys.
Yeah. Stop micromanaging this stuff. Let the creatives do what creatives do, and good things start to happen.
They do. Well, I mean, that covers our Dual Dynasty review this week, but we are not done quite yet. We are going to do a little bit of a transition into a new studio space as we are about to prepare ourselves for our predictions for Survivor Series. So, see you back in 10 seconds in our new studio space. So, we're going to hit the button now.
Yeah. Here we go.
That shit was loud as hell.
Damn, you crushing people.
I mean, what can I say? Alrighty, so this is going to be
somebody got to Photoshop a mask on Ripley's face.
I know.
That was me.
Again, so we're going to do our best to do our predictions for Survivor Series War Games. At this time, we only have 3 matches as currently announced. We'll probably get more, or we get probably 2 more at least, or 1 more added by the end of this week.
Did you send a poll for this, Mikey?
Well, I'm going to wait until the SmackDown airs and send it out Friday night.
All right.
So,
cool.
because I want to see what the final officials are
Sure.
going to be.
Hoping to extend my lead in our prediction race here because I've
Well,
gone,
it's
I've gone 2 in a row of being perfect.
Oh, I'm probably behind because I was not here.
well, no, because I think so.
I think
Survivor.
you're only like 1 or 2 behind Mikey.
I think you're ahead of me. I think by 1 point. I got to recheck the things, but you've been keeping. We'll see because it's still relatively close for everybody.
All right, fair enough.
So, alrighty, so let's do this thing. So, Survivor Series will be coming from Vancouver, in Canadian land on this Saturday. So, this is going to be an interesting one because I am happy that we don't have to stay up late, but I was like, damn, a 3 p. So, it says 3:30 on the poster. Come to find out that the Survivor Series is going to start at 3 p.m. I'm like, damn, so we're going late afternoon, early evening pay-per-view. All right, I get to have dinner by the end of this. Cool. I ain't gonna complain.
That's not bad. Yeah, that's fine.
Well, especially for us. Well, before we get into our review or of this, what up, Robert? Welcome back.
Yeah.
The boys are back with Mikey and friends. What's up, Robert? Robert, loyal friend loyal, chatter in the chat for our shows. Popped in last night too for our AEW Full Gear watch along, which by the way, so it can be on air and forever on the internet. Shout out to Adolfo and Alice for pulling off the second half of the review or the watch along as I had to bounce and do other obligations. But also shout out to Adolfo, man. Like he did the darn thing. He ran the whole entire watch along. He was in charge of the 1s and 2s, and he did a phenomenal job. So love you, Adolfo. Oh my goodness.
All right.
But so watch along will be happening for Survivor Series this Saturday. The boys, or at least most of us, I hope, we will be on here watching Survivor Series. If you want to join us, you can through the chat. You also can watch the pay-per-view on your own devices on Peacock. And I'm having a friend of mine come in to join us for the watch along. So this is going to be fun.
Dope.
This is going to be great. So let us get into our predictions. So Survivor Series currently has 3 matches scheduled. So we are going to start with the non-war game match first. Shout out to these graphics, by the way.
Yeah,
I love the designs, but we have a World Heavyweight Championship match happening at Survivor Series. Gunther will be putting his title on the line against Damian Priest. How we got this match made is that Damian won the number 1 contenders match at the Monday Night Raw after Crown Jewel. And we have been seeing Damian Priest just cut these amazing promos and also kind of making Gunther look like the clown that he is. Just kidding.
Huh?
Yeah, Damian won in a Fatal 4 match of 3 monsters and Dom.
I was just like, yeah, he had the odds were against him. He had to beat Seth. And he had to beat, I forgot who the other monster was. And then there's just Dom.
It was, I think it was Bronson.
Oh, yeah. It was Seth, Bronson, Damian, and Dominic. I love the commentary buried Dominic. It was so funny to watch. I don't know, you guys. I think Gunther is going to retain, but I would not be surprised if Damian also beats him. I don't know.
I think he retains. I think they're gonna let him hang on to it a little bit longer going into the end of the year, and then they'll build up something for WrestleMania. That makes more sense to me. Although Damian getting in here, not the worst thing in the world. I do think they want to see Gunther hold this title like he did the other one. Like how long and can he be a pillar of the thing? Because he's shown he can hold it and make it interesting. I wouldn't be shocked for shenanigans here. I hope there aren't. I would love to see this clean one way or another, but I think it'll be finagled one way or another. But I think that's
I truly don't think Damian even drops it at Mania. I think he holds on to this belt for at least a year.
Yeah,
yeah. As much as I would love, Gunther. My bad. As much as I like Damian, which I do like Damian a lot, Gunther is not dropping that belt anytime soon.
No, as much as my heart wants Damian to win, I'm going to go with Gunther on this one. And
I think he eventually drops it to Sami Zayn.
Ooh, that would also be very fun. I would love that.
Wow.
Sammy's the only person that's beaten him on the main roster besides Chad Gable through technicality.
Yeah.
And the only other person to beat Gunther on quote unquote, well, I still count NXT as the third main roster brand, but there's only been 3 people who have been able to pin Gunther. And, you mentioned them already with Sammy, but also Ilya Dragunov too. And when Ilya comes back from injury, I'm ready for that program.
Sure.
So the 3 of us have selected Gunther to retain here. So now let's get into the 2 War Games matches. So first, let's start with the women. Again, graphics are clean. So this is Team Liv Morgan, which is Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, and Candice LeRae versus Team Bianca Belair, which is Bianca Belair, probably Bayley, replacing Jade Cargill, Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, and Naomi. This is a tough one, but I actually am going to pick Team Liv to win here.
I think it's Team Liv. I think this will be a heel tonight. I think it's Team Liv. Just on my limited knowledge of how things have been going recently, I think they keep Liv strong. I will curveball this. I think Tiffany cashes in. I think it happens here.
Yes, Tiffany cashing in here would be amazing.
Somehow in the madness of this, she cashes in and she takes it from Nia Jax, and we all go, what in the hell just happened?
Well, that also coincides too with a certain small vignette of, the Diamond Standard Charlotte Flair dropping something on her social medias recently too.
I think we see that happen now. Call him a shot.
I would love that Tiffany cashes in on Nia in the middle of this match, add to the chaos.
I'm going to root against you guys. I'm going to go for the faces because I don't think Rhea Ripley loses on her return match.
That is also very fair because that's also a problem too.
It's true.
And I think the cash-in is why they lose.
That could also happen
Maybe
too.
that. I don't hate that. Maybe that could be that. I know they want Rhea Ripley to be strong. I know she's got the mask on. I think her with mask kind of gives them an out to why. She's not eating the pin, right? She's not going to do that.
No, it's going to be either Naomi or Sky. But
I can see that too. But I think they're going to go full heel, as we will see by my next pick.
Well, the only other match that is scheduled so far is the men's War Game match. So this is Bloodline Civil War. We have Team OTC, Roman Reigns, Jimmy and Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, and the 5th member, CM Punk, taking on Team Timu Bloodline, Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, Tama Tonga, Tongaloa, and Big Bronson Reed.
Look, it's his picture on here.
Gosh.
Just chaotic energy. We love to see it. So this one's a lot tougher for me, if I'm being completely honest. With Punk involved, I want to say Roman's team wins. But then
they also lost the last one. Like, I don't think they lose 2 in a row.
Yeah, I'm torn on this because if they... This is where I'm torn. I was gonna pick Solo in them because if Roman wins, we have nowhere to go.
Yeah, we do.
We have to have some kind of unification of the bloodline thing.
Did you just say Brock? Get out of here.
No, The Rock.
Oh, The Rock. I thought you said Brock. I'm like, get out of here.
No, like if Roman Reigns wins, I think The Rock comes out and just beats the fuck out of everybody.
See, I like that better, which now pushes me to picking Team Roman to win.
Or Roman loses because of The Rock. I think The Rock gets involved. That's straight up. I think that is like, who wins? I don't know. The Rock does.
But does The Rock want to be tribal chief, or The Rock just wants something to do with the family shit?
I think The Rock wants to be the tribal. Well, I don't know. I feel like The Rock is he's like, it's like World War II Japan, where it's like, here's Solo, who is the emperor, but not really. He's not the dude that's really in charge. It's The Rock.
Yeah, but The Rock now has that Red One franchise under his belt for the rest of his career. He's going to be fine. Anyway, I think that The Rock could show up. I don't know. I really thought it was Solo, and now that we're talking about it, I can go either way.
I I think for now, I might change my pick when the official form goes out, but I'm going to go with on air. I'm going to say Team Roman, but that might change depending on what happens this week.
On air, I'm going to go Team Solo, but that might change based on this week as well if we're allowed to do that. I'm going to think they're going to someone there's going to eat the pin, probably Jimmy or Jay. And there's going to be some kind of interference, something. CM Punk comes out strong, Roman comes out strong, but something goes wrong along the way.
Sammy betrays them all. It was him all along.
Was it Sammy all along? I don't know.
That'd be kind of crazy.
It's just that we're on such a high with CM Punk showing up here. The blind side is where the WWE loves to go, right? You think it's this, it's that. Like they love doing that. So it's hard for me to pick against them because every time I pick with my heart, I'm wrong.
I know. It's tough. Minnie, who you got for this one again?
The Rock. Going with, I because of them losing last time and with CM Punk, I don't feel like Roman's team is losing.
Okay. I'm going on air. I'm saying Team Roman, but again, that might change. We'll see. I actually kind of like I don't know which with this one because it could truly go either way, and that's a sign of this is
a good build up.
Yeah,
yes.
Absolutely, right? Absolutely, and we also know there's going to be at least 2 more matches added to this.
So
I just don't know what.
I'm pretty sure I would not be surprised if we don't. There are 3 possibilities in my mind.
Is the women's final for the mid-card belt going to be on this?
So the United States Championship, the finals for that is actually going to happen at Main Event in December.
Okay.
So Saturday night Main Event is where the finals for the United States Championship tournament is going to be held. Now, if I had to speculate, there are 3 options, 2 of them in which you can pick. There are 3 championships that are kind of being told in storylines on the weekly televisions, and you could possibly add 2 of them on here. And on here, those 3, and I'm not going to speculate which ones need to go on here, but I can see Triple H adding a triple threat for the Intercontinental Championship here between Sheamus, Braun, and Ludwig Kaiser. I can also see Papa H adding Shinsuke versus LA Knight for the United States Championship.
That would be great.
The other thing,
a little bit more time to
that's the only reason why I'm a little hesitant to put it on here. But the other one is depending if it doesn't happen relatively soon. I can also see Motor City Machine Guns versus the Profits, and then on this pay-per-view for the championships.
I don't hate that. It's a short turnaround, but I don't hate that.
So those are the 3 possibilities, and who knows? They might put something else on. Because this is a big 4 pay-per-view, we might get all 3. Who knows? We shall see.
Yeah.
Alrighty. But that is going to be it for us here at the Dual Dynasty review. So I'm going to get us back into our regular studio space really quickly. But yeah, a lot of fun stuff. I am super excited for this upcoming week. Just to give everybody a bit of heads up before we sign off for the evening, this week is going to look a little bit differently. So later tonight, myself and Andrew are back at it again with another GCW watch along, this time for Bloodsport 12, which has lots of exciting action going on. I cannot wait.
That's in 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
It's like in 3 hours. It starts at 4.
Okay. I might, if I have some errands to run and my son's a little sick, but I'll try and stop by.
That would be a lot of fun for sure.
I'll be watching football.
I know.
You gotta come watch GCW.
Minnie doesn't.
No, look at my thing. I still won't watch Ring of Honor, GCW, or AEW.
Yeah, but why?
TNA's the only exception.
You're just angry. You don't give a reason. You just choose things.
It's out of the principle now because of JVL.
Oh,
that is very fair. But this week it does look a little bit different. So tonight, me and Andrew and possibly the professor will be doing a watch along for Bloodsport 12. Josh Barnett presents Bloodsport 12.
So good.
Josh Barnett's going to be fighting MVP. It's going to be fun. There's also a lot of good action in my opinion. The card looks really fun. Tomorrow evening on Monday, myself, Adolfo, and Alice will be reviewing AEW's Full Gear, which transpired last night. A lot of things went down. Tuesday will be the GCW Bloodsport 12 review, and then we're going dark for the majority of the week as I am giving time off to my hosts to spend time with their families and enjoy the Thanksgiving holiday break here in the United States. So I am being a Papa H of sorts, and I'm giving my talent some time off with their families, which is appreciated. But don't think that we're going to stay gone the whole entire week, because that's just Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Come Saturday afternoon/evening, you'll see us clowns here from WWE Dual Dynasty do a live watch along for Survivor Series.
It's gonna be
I'll
wild.
be at work.
I know. So many
You gotta watch it work.
I do. I just won't be able to do the watch along.
which is fine. But hopefully at least for the watch along, me, Professor, and a friend of mine, the three of us are going to have a great time, I think. So we shall see what happens with all of that. But that is going to be it for us here at Dual Dynasty. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, from us three and the rest of the BC Wrestle Pod family, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, stay iconic, and more importantly than anything, you always deserve to finish your story. We will catch you later today and for the rest of this week. But until then, sayonara, adios, and Minnie, why don't you remind the folks at home, why do we do what we do here at BC WrestlePod?
Because I wanted to.
I love the build up. We will see you later. But until then, ta-ta for now.